Morning. Today is our last day of review before our test over functions tomorrow. Again, this will be a test that's done in Agile Minds. I know some of you don't like Agile Mind. I'm not a huge fan either, but again, that's the way we're going to do our test this year. And I've stolen a couple of questions from their practice test so we can kind of go over some formatting and the way the questions might be asked, because again, we all know Agile Minds is a little awkward sometimes in the way it asks the questions. So this is your worksheet today. We're just going to do a couple of them. I'm not going to do every single one, but I'm going to pick through a couple I know will be helpful. All right, so the first one here says the graph shows a function. So this is a function graph. We don't know what's the domain. So let's just do a quick little review again. The domain, all right, these are all of our x values. That's our x-axis here. So we're talking about left and right numbers. All right, so what we want to do for domain is we want to see how far to the left does the graph go. And it looks to me like right here is the end of the graph. There is nothing over in this zone here. And on the other side, it looks like right there's the end of the graph. There's nothing out here. The whole graph is in between this number and this number. And that's what it's asking you in these two spots. Notice that the x is written in the middle. Now, that means that the picture is in the middle. There it is, in the middle. In the middle of what two numbers? Well, on the left, -3, and over here on the right, 4. So again, that's domain. Now, if you had been asked to find the range is something slightly different. Well, let's just go ahead and pretend for a moment that that's what you were asked, because I know that there's a question on the test that asks you for the range. So if we had been asked to find the range instead, the range is a list of all the y values. Here's the y-axis here, the up and down numbers. So for that, we would want to know how high up does it go and how far down does it go. And that would mean that the y would be in between, and then the bottom number down here would be -1, and the top number up here would be 3. So again, range and domain are very similar. Very similar. One of them is the left and right, that's the domain. The other is the range, that's up and down, and it's your job to remember that. All right, let's look at another one. All right, it says, which of the following relations is a function? So if you remember, there was a couple of different things we were looking at. First off, we were looking at this mapping diagrams. We were looking at tables, lists, and what we had was, on one side we had input values. On the other side we had output. What we were looking for were repeats in this column. If something were to repeat in that column, that would be bad. So that's our X column. So that's the column I need to pay attention to. So let's look here in choice A. Do we have any repeats in the X column? It's going sideways, but who cares? It's the X's. So -7, -3, 3, 2, 6. Oh, 3. I see double 3s. Now, if those have the same Y answers with them, then everything's fine. It's just a copy. But if they have different answers, then this is bad. And I see they have different answers. One of them has an answer of 0. One of them has an answer of 5. That doesn't make any sense. How can you use 3 and get 0 one time, and the next time you use 3 you get 5? That doesn't make any sense. That's bad. So when it says which of the following is a function, this one's out. All right. Now let's look at B. That one's listed as ordered pairs, but again, it's still the same basic concept. Right? We want to list them instead of listing them as ordered pairs. We could list them across, like that first one, 1, 2. And the next one, -2, 5. So we could list them in that same kind of column. And again, what we're looking for are repeats in the X column. So let's look at where those X's are. All right, so hopefully you notice that there's the X, there's an X, that one's 8. Oh, there's another, that's a double. Hopefully you can see that. We have doubles, and here they are. There's one double. They both have a first number of 1. Now, if the second number is a match, then everything's still fine. But if the second number is different, then this is not a function, and this one's not a function. Those second numbers are different. Let's look at the next one. Same thing. Let's look at those first numbers. -4, 2. So far we're okay. -2, no matches yet. +4, no matches. Oh, a -4, there's a match. If their answers are the same, the second number is also the same, then it's okay. It's just a copy. But if their second answers aren't the same, then this is not a copy, and this is bad. And those second answers are not the same. So this one's also out. All right, now for the graphs, what we looked at was what's called the vertical line test. We have to draw vertical lines, and we should never hit two dots at the same vertical line. So everything's fine on that one. So there's our function. All right. So a lot of questions kind of similar to these. Domain, range, checking to see if something's a function. And again, I know this is kind of a weird unit to start the year off with, but again, it's something that we do use all year long, so this is stuff that won't go away, especially domain and range. Those will be something we talk about a lot. All right, good luck on your review today, and good luck on your test tomorrow.